What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red and Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Mike Andrews. Our guy, Matt Llewellyn, will be joining us shortly, but for the time being, it is Mike and myself. Before I toss it over to you, Mike, if you guys are watching on X, make sure you hit like and repost the post. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Go to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe, hit like, hop in the chat. We want to hear your thoughts. And also head over to Nothing But Niners, just below Mike, NB9ERS. I think actually on YouTube, it's Nothing But 9ERS. Check them out. Subscribe if you aren't already. I'm sure you guys are. Premium 49ers content. You can't miss it. We appreciate all the support. Now that I got that out of the way, Mike, how you doing tonight?
All is well, man. Another day, another dime, and I am here to talk some Niners, man. This is going to be a very, very interesting game that we're going to preview tonight. A lot of people banged up in the trenches on both sides of the team, so it's going to be very interesting, man. I'm ready to break some of this stuff down.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Like the comment says, you know, I'm putting together the YouTube show, I guess you could say, description, and I'm like, well, what picture do I use? We haven't gone live. I know you've done some shows, but we haven't gone live since Sunday, since after the game. And when we wrapped things up, everything was kind of trending upwards. Everything was, well, you know, Kyle Shanahan said, we can't rule it out, but it didn't affirmatively say it was a torn ACL. But, you know, there was some caution there because of how Nick Bosa felt. But they were, you know, kind of trending upward. It seemed like we avoided a big scare. And then I'm at work and I'm slammed Monday morning and I see all the text messages start going in. The group chat's going crazy. And I look and there's the tweet. There's the Adam Schefter tweet, unfortunately, that Nick Bosa did indeed tear his ACL for the second time. I believe he tore that same ACL when he was in college, a partial tear.
I think they're saying this is his third time now. I don't know if it's the same
third
one.
in total.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. So he's torn one each since he's been in the NFL. And then the one that he just tore, he had torn in high school partially, is my understanding. Chat, if you know anything otherwise, please let us know. But that was really, really a downer, to be honest with you, because, man, the 49ers had just had this hard-fought victory. They finally had a special teams plus come through with them. And unfortunately, the bad news came, and it was bad. He is out for the year. He will be undergoing, I should say, surgery, and then the timetable to return. I mean, hopefully it's by next year. I saw Dr. Narav Pandya on KNBR, shout out to Pandya, and he was saying how since this is already an ACL that had been repaired, it kind of complicates things a little further because the joint and the bones already have the screws and everything that you do when you do an ACL repair. So now they have to be even more careful when they go in there and get under the knife because they already did that once, and it's not expected you do that twice. And also the timetable for timetable. I'm all over the place tonight. Timetable for return is a little longer. It could be, instead of 9 months, it could be up to 12 months. A lot depends on how Bosa reacts to this, right? He is a super freak, athletic human, so it's possible that he does bounce back in no time. But it's something that we still have to talk about. Mike, I haven't talked to you since it's dropped, aside from a couple of text messages. What was your reaction when the news hit Monday morning?
Yeah, it was kind of like devastating because I really thought we slipped one, watching him do the high knees and all that afterwards. It was just so unusual for someone to be doing that with a torn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, man, look at him. He's out there. He's jogging. Like, all right, they're going to keep him out the rest of the game. It's more precautionary than anything. But I was wrong. I was feeling really, really good. And then, you go from feeling good to just being completely devastated. So, it is what it is. Like Kyle Shanahan, I'm not going to say that he downplayed it at all because that feels like dismissive of Nick Bosa and his contribution to the team. But Kyle was like, I'm not. They were like, did you address the team? He was like, no. Like, they know already. Like, this, it's next man up. It's been next man up. Fred Warner comes in and echoes the same sentiment. Like, we know what it's going to be already. Unfortunately, we're all too familiar with the next man up has to come in here and play. And like I said, I prefer more pressure on the new people, the new defensive linemen and all that stuff. If you're depending on Bosa to make a play, you might end up like taking plays off. I think the defensive line played better after he was out, like for that, the 2.5 quarters that he was out. And they got better against the run, and that was before Connor went down. So I think that it's going to, adversity builds character. And so I think we're going to really see who these guys are.
Right. And I see some of the chats here. By the way, somebody had asked how we came with 49ers Hive. I've starred your comment. I'm not ignoring you. We'll get to it, I promise. I just don't want to jump around too many on two different subjects. It's a fair point. Bosa knew, Mac 49, Bosa knew he tore his ACL while the 49ers medical staff couldn't dictate a torn ACL from the hand test on the sideline. Just tells you all you need to know about our team's medical staff. I agree with you, but also the test can't rule it out. It can only affirmatively tell you that it's been torn, is my understanding of the test. So I don't know. You can 1,000% say yes. I don't know. Say it's like you test something, like you have a stain on your carpet and you test it for like grape juice, and it's like, well, it's not grape juice. That doesn't tell you what it is. You just know it's not grape juice. So like that's all that the test can do, is affirmatively tell you if you tore it. Maybe because it was a clean tear, it was a little harder to see, with the standard test before putting under imaging, and then you do see a little more, obviously a lot more clearer. So I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it's a fair point, Mike, is it not? I mean, like maybe these doctors are telling our players you're good to go, and they go out there and they they mess up their stuff more.
Yeah, it's odd. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet. I thought about sharing it with you guys, and I don't remember where I got it from, but I know I didn't share it back to you. So maybe I even got it in our chat. But it turns out that our head strength and conditioning guy is LaFleur's sister's husband. So it's like a Nepo hire, another familiarity hire. It's like the craziest thing in the world. Like when you see that and then you hear like, oh, they did the hand test and they couldn't feel that it was torn. Like what you're saying is it's not grape juice, but that's not the case. Like it was an ACL, like that was completely, you get what I'm saying? So it was like, then what were you guys feeling around for? What were you feeling? What were you trying to determine then? Like, oh, is it an ACL? No, it doesn't feel like it's an ACL. And it was a complete, like Kyle, based off of what Kyle's saying, it was like as clean as possible. You take the wire and you just snip it. It was just a straight tear. And so if they couldn't determine that, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in the field, so I don't know. But then I saw the whole, like he's a Nepo hire and blah, 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 blah. And like it's just another association, get you the position type of thing. I don't know. I'm not saying that the guy's not qualified at all. So I'm going to stop there. But I don't know, man. Like it's just the tear is a tear. We got to keep it moving now. Like that's all.
So, the vice president of player health and performance also was the head strength and conditioning, Dustin Perry. Is that the guy you're talking about? Does that name ring a bell?
Yep.
I Googled. I searched on Twitter, on X, his name, and fans are the worst. They're hilarious in the worst way, but they are. Have you searched his name, Mike? Did you see?
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's trash. He's got to go." It's like, guys, like this is.
But do you say why? Do you say why? What they're saying to try and get him fired?
Oh yeah, but like it's. I don't know specifically which ones you're talking about, which posts you're talking about.
They're
like,
memes. Let me throw it that way. They're not. They're like trying to get him canceled, but it's like it's not him. It's like I saw he said something bad about black people, or he said something bad. My name's Dustin Perry, and I believe this, and it's just.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, look, do you guys not remember Marco Iyami? Do you remember Marco Iyami, Mike? He was the previous like head of strength and conditioning or whatever. And he was loved. Everybody loved him. He was great at his job, but the 49ers kept getting injured, so they canned him. Like, I think they've turned over their conditioning team at least once or twice, three times.
This is the third one.
So
they turned it over twice, like you said,
right.
Yeah.
And John Feliciano said, we used to joke that the power lines behind us, like, put some radiation in the air or something, we'd get hurt. I really don't know. I really don't know what it is. At this point, though, it's like when you look at Nick Bosa's injury, he was trying to deflect the pass. He jumps up, and then he just kind of landed awkwardly on his knee. Is there anything any strength and conditioning coach could have done to prevent that?
No, and that's why we can't blame strength and conditioning coaches for certain injuries, right? Like it's like being mad that Brock Purdy landed on his shoulder and messed up his shoulder. Like
Or got his foot stepped on.
Right. And so like it's misplaced hate and anger and it's emotions and all that stuff. And then people are just going to keep going and reaching and trying to get someone removed and all that. That's not the way to go about it, man. If there's one player that is going to show up in shape and ready for football and be like, Nick Bosa is so well conditioned that he knew he tore it. Like they were saying that he was telling them and they were like, we don't feel it. We don't feel it. He was like, trust me, I know my body. It's happened to me before. Like I know what it is. That's what it is. And that's why he gave the thumbs down, as he was, seen on the sidelines. Like he was very much he was well aware of what the injury was. So that's not a strength and conditioning thing at all. The strength was there. The conditioning was there. Sometimes the ligaments just go, man. Like that's just how it is.
He knew immediately, unfortunately, something wasn't right. This immediately became a meme. It's unfortunate. It really is. He was poised for a great year. I think he only played like 13 snaps Sunday, so the rest of the team had to come in. Their run defense was better, but the pressures significantly went down. I think they went from like 58% pressure rate to like 25. Now, to be fair, very small sample size. Like I said, he only played 13 snaps or something like that.
Bosa played 14 snaps in the game.
Thank you.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. So, obviously, well wishes to Nick Bosa. Hopefully, come back soon, come back healthy. Mike, is there any concern in your mind that, I say at his age with air quotes, right? Because some people are saying he's old already, that he doesn't come back to the same caliber player?
No, I think he actually comes back better. Based off of the way, again, Kyle was describing the tear and everything, the repair, I don't think, not trying to counter what you said, Dr.
Pandya.
Yeah, Pandya said. But that was more about the procedure that goes into it. It wasn't speaking directly to Nick Bosa. This was like procedure again, right? But it's been so long and all, your body will naturally rebuild itself, like certain areas, right? And so I don't think that's necessarily applicable to Nick Bosa's injury. So I'm not overly concerned. I think he's going to be fine. And look, the Niners were prepared for something like this. They had the insurance clause in his newest contract, right? So I don't know if you saw that post or not, but the Niners are going to gain $7 million in salary cap space and all that. Like, so, this is something that the team is ready for. Now, why is that $7 million important? In case we have to go out and get somebody else to replace Nick Bosa, that's money that can be thrown in with the bonuses and all that. So the team is gonna. There you go. That's it. There. So the team is gonna they're gonna answer back. They're constantly looking around the league and all, and there's a whole list going on with possible candidates and all that stuff. And it's gonna be someone who's on their last year or second to last year of their contract. I think it's going to be someone with familiarity between Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley. Maybe someone that Chris Kocurek has some familiarity with, but who is that going to be? He's been with the Niners the entire time, so there's no one that's going to apply there. But I think they're going to be okay. I think they'll find some answers, and they're going to have these guys ramp it up some. They're going to have these guys ramp it up.
And the quote that Mike was talking about for the insurance. After Nick Bosa suffered a season-ending torn ACL, the 49ers will now receive $7 million in 2026 salary cap space because of an insurance policy they took out in the 5-year, $170 million contract extension that Bosa signed in 2023. Credit to NBC Sports 49ers. So I guess that's just special language of the contract stating that if he misses, a year with a serious injury, the amount they owe him reduces $7 million. Is that roughly how you understand that?
I don't take it as that. I think the guarantees are the guarantees. I think that this is just an insurance policy, right? Like we, as regular everyday people, we can go out and get like an Aflac plan, right? Where if you have a long-term or a short-term disability, there's insurances for that. If I go out and break my hand and I can't type anymore, that's gonna restrict me from doing my job as efficiently as I can. And you could be paid for that. You are allowed to take those kind of insurances out on yourself, and that's what the team did. They did an insurance based off of cap space. It doesn't say that it's going to come out of his salary. It's just what they're going to receive because of that injury to Nick Bosa. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to have to pay him. So I don't know the specific ins and outs of how it works, but it says that they're going to receive $7 million in cap space because of it. So he's going to get his money. I'm sure he had, just like you put this insurance policy in there, I'm sure he has insurance and injury guarantees built in his contract as well.
Well, what's confusing to me is I get that they get the money back, but like, how does that then count towards their cap space? An insurance policy, I would think, just covers them, like their wallet, not also plays into the NFL and their rules.
Yeah. So if let's just say they're starting 2026 with $100 million. Now they're starting with $107 million in cap space. But I don't know exactly how it works, where that $7 million comes from and all that stuff. But maybe they paid a little extra, towards his base salary or something like that, and it gets reworked into a different type of, all right, now that's going to convert to your injury bonus, and it'll be $7 million less than what your base salary was going to be, or so. You get what I'm saying? So
right.
I'm sure it's just manipulation and movement of the money.
Niners Nation did an article about this, and they were talking about ESPN's Kaylin Collar, and she wrote an article at the beginning of 2024 stating why insuring star players have become the source of NFL tension. In that article, New York Jets missed out on recouping up to $22 million in insurance proceeds when Aaron Rodgers essentially missed the entire season a couple years ago. Teams like Green Bay Packers and Miami Dolphins did not make the same mistake when Jordan Love and Tua Tagovailoa went down with injuries. One executive claimed these insurance policies are, quote, a way to create cap space out of thin air. Collar's article states that roughly half of the NFL currently has an insurance policy on at least one player contract, and it's generally their most expensive contract. So that makes sense. Bosa's, I think he's their second highest paid, or maybe he is their highest paid player. I think he is, right? He's their highest paid player.
No, I think he's their second. I think Brock's new deal is more than Bosa's was. Brock's deal was five years, 230
true.
something.
Bosa got
right?
this in 2023, so
right. So this was 5 years, 170 million. So Brock is definitely the highest one, and I'm sure that there's some insurances in there for them as well. But Brock didn't have anything that landed him on IR, so I don't think they'll be cashing that in.
Well, it is interesting. Obviously, heartbreaks for Bosa. He was, like I said, poised for a great year. Saleh's back. He finally got a running mate with Bryce Huff and a beast in the middle in Mykel Williams. And he's going to have to watch it all on the sidelines now or from the booth once he gets healthy. There's a lot of talk, Mike, and I don't want to get too far ahead because Matt should be joining us any minute, but I'll ask you the question. We can talk about it. What the 49ers do from here? How do they adjust? Do they go after a veteran? You talked about a guy likely on their last year, somebody they're familiar with. The name I continue to see floated out there is Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals. He led the NFL in sacks last year. Him and the Bengals could not agree to a long-term deal. He held out pretty much all of preseason, and eventually they threw a little bit extra money on a 1 year. They reworked a 1 year deal. They gave him like 35 million for 1 year, and he signed. And their season is all but over thanks to Joe Burrow being out for most of, if not all of the year. Jake Browning came in and got absolutely spanked by the Vikings. I mean, they were turning the ball over every time I turned my head. Do you see that as a viable option for the 49ers, Mike? Do you see Trey Hendrickson as somebody they could go after?
Not right now. So I thought he did get an extension.
No, they reworked this year.
Oh, okay. So that part I wasn't clear with. Okay. So then, I mean, maybe he is 31 years old. It's not like he's, at the end of his, time or anything like that. Yeah. So, I mean, he is a possibility, but the Bengals, it's too early for them to say we can't make the playoffs at all. Now, I also saw that game. and it's not very promising. Yeah, so maybe they feel that way. Let's get something instead of nothing. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's how they feel about it. But it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, and we have to be patient. It might not come this week like people are hoping for. It could be something that will end up showing up later on. All right, it could be something that shows up later on. If they lose the next game or two, maybe then they'll be more inclined to trade someone, right? But if they can come back, if they can win their next two games, all of a sudden they're 3-2 or 2-3. I'm sorry, they're 2-3, right? Because the Bengals don't have any wins yet. So
no, they have 2 wins.
They have 2 wins.
Yeah, they started 2-0.
Oh shit! So then, they might be in first place in their division. Like, there's no need for them to say, "All right, season's over right now." Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I see Matt's in the waiting room. Matt, are you ready to be brought in? Let's bring in Matt.
Did you guys already talk about the sad news of the week?
What's sad news? My bowling finger? I didn't even tell anybody about that. You shouldn't start the show like that, man.
We just now got through with it, but we were talking about second time tearing it makes things a little more difficult, possible longer time frame. I don't know if you had any thoughts on it. We were just getting into possible replacements, but I know.
No, I mean, at the very least, it's a clean tear of the ACL. So for whatever that's worth, I don't know if that's worth anything, but yeah, the bummer.
It is. It really is. We were talking about Trey Hendrickson, and I saw Tim Kawakami mentioned the 49ers. He knows that they liked him and that they didn't pick up the phone last year, but if they did, he would have been one of their options. Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. Seems like they were interested in some premier pass rushers last year, but Hendrickson wasn't on their list. But he, interestingly enough, mentioned that he would cost a first rounder plus maybe even a player, a first and a second rounder. Mike, am I crazy for thinking that's like an extremely high asking price for a player that would basically be a 1-year rental on the wrong side of 30 that you're not going to re-sign, you being the Bengals? Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, not crazy at all. If I'm the Niners, I'm not giving up a first. That doesn't mean that there isn't something there. Like, if we give you a first, maybe we get a second in return or something like that, right? But I don't know that the Niners are going to do that for someone that you don't plan on extending. Now, if I'm him, if I'm Trey, I am going to say, well, if you're acquiring me, I do want an extension. And players do very much have that right, unless there was some kind of like no trade clause included for I'm trying to think of how this works. If a team has a no trade clause, that means that the player can't request a trade, and then the team can deal you to whoever you want. If the player has a no trade clause, then they have the negotiation rights built into it. It doesn't mean that they can't be traded. It means they have to agree to the terms of the trade. So it depends on the details of this, the new money and all that they worked into it.
So I have the quote here. Then I'll get Matt's thoughts on this. This is per Tim Kawakami. The 49ers liked him for a while. I don't think the Bengals are picking up the phone for the last few years, but if they did, the 49ers would have talked to them. They like him a lot. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and Trey Hendrickson are the guys. I've always heard that if they were going to get another big defensive end, they'd like to get one of those guys. Tim goes on to say that the trade could look something like this. A first and second round pick if they get him, make the playoffs, and he resigns. Just a first round pick if the 49ers make the playoffs and he doesn't resign. Just a second round pick if they don't make the playoffs and he doesn't re-sign. I'm having a hard time understanding how the playoffs factor into, like, could they put that in a trade agreement? Like, you have to make the playoffs, and if you make the playoffs, we get a first round pick. I thought it was always like tied to individual performance.
No, there's all kinds of escalators in these deals. You know what I mean? I've seen
it'll be like place percentage of snaps.
That's what I'm used to, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can put whatever language you want in a trade, apparently, as long as the league approves it.
Fair. I was watching that Dallas Cowboys documentary when they traded the running back. I'm forgetting his name.
Herschel
Walker. And, part of the clause on the trade was if they cut all 4 of the players they traded him for, they get 4 first-round picks or something like that. And they didn't think they'd actually do it, and they did, and they got. So I guess you're right. You could put whatever language you want in these trades, and as long as you got to read the fine print. Matt, yay or nay? Trey Hendrickson, right price? Not at all. How are you feeling about this?
It's got to be the right price, and what TK has up on this screen is far too rich. Right. He's going to walk here for the Bengals. He's going to leave that team. You can't give up a first-round pick for essentially what's going to be a rental. And if you're going to re-sign him, you have to understand that Trey Hendrickson's on the wrong side of 30. You're giving up a lot. I'd much rather they take, maybe go after Kayvon Thibodeau of the Giants, who's also in a walk year, who will probably cost less than Trey Hendrickson. He won't get the production out of Kayvon Thibodeau, but it won't cost as much. And when you think about all of the needs that are going to come up, I mean, let's be real. Trent Williams is going to retire. Or you have to replace him in some way, shape, or form because he's not going to be Trent Williams. So you have to go and get a high-level tackle in this next coming up draft. Giving up a first-round pick only sets that goal back even further. I know that Kyle and John are really opposed to addressing offensive line, but even they got to be thinking, like, we got to bite the bullet at some point to do this.
I'm with you. I think that for the way this roster, the direction it's heading, spending a first round pick, especially on a guy like Trey Hendrickson, although he may be good for this year, it really sets them back because are you going to re-sign him? And if you are going to re-sign him, are you going to pay him another $30+ million a year? Like that's a whole nother massive contract that you have to factor in that they did not anticipate having to pay for a week ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So it really puts him in a tough spot. I like Thibodeau that Matt brought up. I think he would be a good fit. I see the chat saying no way. He's a player that hasn't been tapped into yet. You never know. Yeah. He's still on a rookie deal.
I think he would play really well here, by the way.
Thanks for the correction from SD, by the way. The Giants did pick up his 5th year, so he would be under contract for next year at $14.75 million. But that's going to be significantly cheaper than Trey Hendrickson's going to want.
Less than half. Mike?
So there are some players that have some connections to the team. Quiddy Payne is a guy that has the Gus Bradley connection, and he is in the last year of his deal. Arden Key, who we have seen here twice, if I'm not mistaken, in the last year of his deal. Michael Clemens, Robert Saleh connection, right? Again, last year of his contract. Charles Omenihu, who we've seen here before as well, last year of his contract. So there are players around that you can absolutely sit back and say, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners went after that person instead.
I think that there are plenty of other names. It seems like Trey Hendrickson is kind of like the, no disrespect, but kind of like the smooth brain take. It's like, edge unhappy with team. Niners need edge put together. It's like there are plenty of other options out there that, aren't going to cost an arm and a leg to get.
This is the same thing that happens anytime a 49er gets injured or a high-profile guy is available. The fan base immediately goes into Madden GM mode and it's just like, well, let's just go get that guy. We'll just trade him. Like, it's no big deal. And that's not how real life works. You got to fit him in the salary cap. You have to think about future implications for the team, what kind of value you're giving up for the player versus what value you should give up for the player. It's a whole bunch of stuff you got to think about, and people are just out there being like, oh, yeah, just go get Trey Hendrickson. No problem. Like, sure, fellas, no problem.
There is a name I haven't seen floated out there, surprisingly, at least not on my circles. And he is from a guy we have a connection with, Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins, who their season's not looking too good. He may be the first coach let go. They're 0-3, if my memory serves correctly. By the way, Dolphins Jets next week on Monday Night Football, and then Broncos Titans. Like, talk about 2 games you could just toss off the edge of the earth. Anyway, everybody, and I even mentioned in the group chat myself, they're kind of looking at Bradley Chubb. What about Jalen Phillips? Jalen Phillips was like on a trajectory straight up, and then he tore his Achilles on Black Friday football a couple years ago, and unfortunately he hasn't really returned to shape yet. But this is a guy that we could get a lot of potential out of. I think he had like 8 sacks in back-to-back years before double-digit sacks actually in back-to-back years before tearing his ACL. So I thought it was Achilles. Did he tear his ACL? I thought it was Achilles. Anyway, had a serious
It was
injury.
ACL.
ACL, thank
Yeah.
you. Had a serious injury, and then he hasn't quite come back to, but I feel like he wouldn't be as expensive. He's a player that's still younger. The 49ers could come in. I'm sure the chat's already saying no more injured players, Zach, but I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on Jalen
I
Flynn.
feel like once you get 2 or 3 years in the NFL, like who is injury free
Right.
at that point? It's pro football, guys. People get injured.
And that is something that we have to remember. Now, also, we have to remember that we have a very young team here, right? So if you look at some of the numbers, let's just focus on Mykel Williams really quick, right? And you can look at his win percentage as a pass rusher from week 1 to week 3, right? 0% week 1. Terrible. It's like, oh, God, this guy isn't him, right? And then week 2, 10%, right? And then this past game, 20%. Right? Over 20%. You look at just his pressure percentage in each game. Again, 0% week 1, right? His first game is in the NFL. Week 2, 3.4%. And then you look at week 3 with 13.8%, almost 14%. Like the kid is legitimately getting, you talk about trajectory, right? This guy is trending in the right direction. More reps, more opportunities, more production. And what I like about this, those numbers that I just shared, those aren't like 6 pressures, 7 pressures, because you're going to say, oh, more snaps, more opportunity. It's based off of percentage. So the percentages are going up. The more he rushes, the better he gets, the more comfortable he gets. I'm not saying that we don't need to go out and find someone to bring in, right? But he's legitimately getting better and better each week. So we're still tapping into a lot of stuff, you know. And I think that the faithful are going to have to exercise a little bit of patience. I think they're really excited because the Niners are 3-0. They don't want to lose this momentum. But, guys, like, you have to look at the players we've lost along the way. Heading into the season, from week 1 and forward, it seems like we're losing at least one starter every single game. Every game. I'm talking from the quarterback to the offensive line, defensive players, offensive players, and Trent and George Kittle, Nick Bosa. Like, we're losing a significant starter every single game. And the team just keeps finding ways to win. We've put ourselves in a position where we don't have to hit the panic button going into this week, right? If we were to fall this week, and I know we're going to get there, it's not the end of the world. We're still 3-0 in the NFC. We're 2-0 in the division. This is an AFC game. Like, this game is literally going to mean the least of our first 6 games, right? Because then after this, we go back-to-back in NFC opponents. So it's not the end of the world if this is a game that we lose and we fall behind on. We would still be in first in the division, even because you got the Seahawks and the Cardinals playing each other. We own the tiebreaker between them, so one of them are gonna, if we lose again, we would all be 3-1. And we would have the tiebreaker because of the head-to-head. So the sky is not falling, and this is a great opportunity for us to see what we actually have in-house. This is literally a litmus test to see what these guys can do. Okay, that guy maybe can't hack it. We're going to need some help for that guy in particular. Maybe we can put Mykel Williams out on the edge, and we need to get defensive tackle help instead of an edge guy, right? Like, let's see what these guys can actually do in a full game setting before we go ahead and just hit the panic button and shuffle everything around right now.
Agreed, and very well said. The 49ers did buy themselves a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of buffer with the hot start, 3-0. So that is a good point, Mike. One last name. I just want to throw it out there because it's fun to speculate. It's fun to have these thoughts. If you wanted a veteran presence, Mike, you talked about, the young defense. You got Mykel Williams, CJ West, Alfred Collins, Bryce Huff, I guess, would be, and Samuel Kwanu would be like the older vet, Kalia Davis. How about a guy who just became the longest tenured player in his franchise's history, Cam Jordan? Cam Jordan, I think he's only making he has like a $6 million cap hit or $16 million cap hit or something like that this year I saw. It would be extremely, extremely affordable. Yes, he's 36, but if you're talking about a 1-year rental until Bosa gets back, he's a guy who's always productive. The Saints have a reason to want to move off because they need all the pieces for a rebuild. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I wouldn't be opposed to it. If you wanted to run your rental, that's not going to cost an arm and a leg. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on it. If not, we can move on. But
I've always liked Cam Jordan. I've been very, very impressed with the way he carries himself, his ability to jump back and forth from practice to the booth or the studios, I should say, because he's on NFL Network and all. Just a really, really likable guy. But I don't know that he would be. I think he's a guy that probably wants to finish his career there. I can't think of another team that he's played for. I think he's been start and finish with the Saints, if I'm not mistaken, for his entire career, right? And it might just hurt a little bit to let him go. So, you kind of probably want to honor a guy like that if you're the Saints. Now, I don't know how their business practices are. They're not nearly as bad as what Washington or Cincinnati are, right? But I don't know if they're going to be willing to let him go. I think that they have him in mind as one of those guys like Ring of Honor, immediately, like this is our guy, like start and finish here, how we felt about Joe Staley,
I felt the same way about Frank Gore. Oh, wait. Apparently the 49ers didn't. So. Matt, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. If not, we can move on. It was an interesting thought.
I don't know. I think when you get down to this whole thing, at the end of the day, let's see what we have in the young guys. You, instead of going after a top flight guy, get somebody that can rotate in so you don't always have to have Mykal Williams, rush the edge, save yourself some capital, let the guys develop. I know CJ West has an injury. I think he might miss this week, but should maybe be back with a cast. Or, he could even play too. Once it's casted up, it's not going to matter. That I don't know what the actual speculation is, but CJ West and Alfred Collins on the inside, let Mykal Williams develop his pass rush, have somebody that can come in and, maybe give him breathers, but you don't have to go out and get a top flight guy. Bosa's going to be back next year. And then it's time to, unfortunately, at this point, it's technically his third ACL. So you might want to kind of watch what his performance is and then make a decision. And that's no shade to Nick Bosa. That's just being practical and looking at the situation going forward. How are his knees going to hold up over the next 3, 4, 5 years? You got to keep that in mind. So you can get a rotational guy. You can kind of plan for the future. You can kind of get through this season and just revisit it next year.
And dare I say, this kind of forces the 49ers to very quickly envision life after Bosa. Like we had been talking for the last 2 to 3 years about trying to imagine what life after Trent Williams looks like. They're very quickly now forced to have those tough conversations. What if he doesn't come back as the same type of player? What if he is now a role player? What if he is now a guy that we can bring in on passing downs only? And next year's draft, they may have to completely invest in the trenches on both sides, as opposed to continuing to think, well, we have a star blue chip player, Nick Bosa. We can just kind of get these cheap little pieces to add on around him.
Yeah. And we saw that this past draft. We saw them invest in a Mykal Williams that they said that they envision as an edge guy who has the ability to bounce inside when needed, right? But my question to you guys is this. Does this do something to the Bosa name, like the bloodline? But now both of their brothers are severely injured in their NFL careers. I saw something that said Nick Bosa has missed 25 to 30 games or something like that already in his NFL career. It might have been 35 games. I forget how many it was, but the stat was crazy. I was like, that's not right, is it? But you forget that he missed almost an entire season before. I think he played one game that one year. It's just wow, he's done it again. It was a projection based off of him missing the rest of this season also. So he might not be at that number yet, but by the time the season ends, he will be at that number. Does that do something about the Bosa name and bloodline, That's it right there.
I don't know. I
that
think
is
it kind
a
of
wild look.
It kind of has to. It's not necessarily the bloodline, but the brothers unfortunately have a bit of a reputation of maybe not necessarily Nick, because he had that one freak injury, and then it was just maybe a game or two here or there. But Joey kind of has that reputation of being injury prone. And that was kind of the knock on him when he was rumored to want to come and sign with the 49ers this past offseason was, just so he could start, 4 or 5 games and then sit on the bench the rest of the games. It is unfortunate. 2 season-ending injuries that happened in the first quarter of the season now. 2020, he got hurt in week 3. 2025, he got hurt in week 3. They're both out for the rest of the year. It's a lot of games, but, look, 2021 played the full season. 2022 only missed 1 game. 2023 only missed 1 game. For I feel like that's just kind of life as a star player in the NFL. Tom Brady missed how many seasons? 2 seasons, I want to say, right? He tore his 2 ACLs. Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear he had 2 season-ending injuries.
I thought he only had one. I don't remember
Maybe
him
one.
having two. Yeah.
But players miss a lot of games. I don't know, Matt. I don't know if you have any different thoughts on this, but I don't think it really ruins it too much.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
It's not like he, tweaked something at practice. Like it was a freak shit. He jumped down and he landed weirdly. And
yeah, I'll say at least about Nick Bosa, both of his ACL tears. I can't speak to his high school one. Obviously, we don't have footage of it or whatever. But both of his ACL tears in the NFL came on like double teams where he was overloaded on one leg or the other. The Jets one, he was like legitimately almost like high load and just tore it there. And then this one, I didn't see on the initial angle. It didn't really look bad. But then when you see the end zone camera, you see, like he kind of, the two guys kind of pushed him and he landed really hard on that right leg. And that's kind of where it went. So MRI showed clean ACL tear. It's not like these were non-contact injuries. These were very much contact injuries. And at least in that regard, you have a little bit of hope, I would say. It's not like Najee Harris, who essentially trying to take a handoff rips his Achilles. So take that for what it is. If that gives you solace, it probably should. It means that he's just not falling apart, without some overload mechanically. So hopefully he's a good healer from this surgery and he can come back and be a force still. So yeah, he's what, 27? So he has age on his side at least. He's still a young player.
That part. Yep.
Also, I want to point out, look at the snap count for all of these playoff games. I mean, going back to 2019, they just go up. Like he's available and he's extra available when the 49ers need him the most in these playoff games. There's 3, 6, 9. I mean, there's 12 extra games that a normal player wouldn't play that Nick Bosa played and played pretty much all of them. So that's almost a full season at this point that he's played and earned and been able to battle through. So it is unfortunate that this happened, but I don't think it puts too much of a knock on him. I do see people talking about that though. I don't know if that's true. Okay, let's get into this Jags 49ers game. And we are already talking about injuries. So why not go to the injury report? Let me pull this up here, gentlemen. For the Jaguars, wide receiver De'Ami Brown did not practice today with a shoulder injury. Guard Ezra Cleveland was limited with an ankle injury. Guard Patrick McCarry limited as well with an elbow injury. Guard Wyatt Millam limited with a knee injury. Brian Thomas Jr., full participation. He has a wrist injury. And running back Bashul Tutin limited with a shoulder injury. Now for the 49ers, it's a little bit longer. Bosa, obviously, I feel like he's going to be on here until he's placed on IR or something. Did not practice, obviously. Connor Colby, limited with the groin. Kalia Davis, limited with an ankle. Bernardo Green, limited with a neck. Yetur Gross-Matos did not participate with the knee. Seems like they're kind of giving him those rest days. Juwan Jennings did not participate with the ankle and the shoulder. Mac Jones, limited with the knee. Diamador Lenore, limited with an illness. Christian McCaffrey got a rest day. Ricky Pearsall apparently had some knee soreness after the game, so he had the day off. Brock Purdy limited with the shoulder and toe. Jordan Watkins did not participate with the calf injury. CJ West did not participate with the thumb injury. Micah Williams, full participation with the wrist injury. And Trent also got a rest day. The biggest news, obviously, aside from Bosa, that came out today was that Ricky Pearsall suddenly popped up with a knee injury and everybody's heart sank. I know mine did, thinking, oh boy, here we go. This is why we can't have nice things. But he talked about it, and it seemed like it wasn't really anything to worry about, that it was just a little bit of knee soreness and they had to classify it. I don't know if you guys had any further thoughts on that, but
I think it's just unfortunate they have to classify it as injury, because then it causes this hand wringing and causes everybody to be all freaked out by it. Essentially, he's been playing hard. He's been out there running all over the field. I know when you look at his game logs and on his targets, see the routes that he's running. He's running out there a lot. And it could have just been something like, He just had extra soreness. The same thing that I said with Christian McCaffrey's calf, right? He just woke up and didn't really feel right. They're taking an abundance of precaution with him because really once you get outside of Ricky Pearsall, who is a good receiver that they have that's not injured or coming back from suspension in the case of Demarcus Robinson, like you better take care of Ricky Pearsall, you know? Otherwise, you got a whole lot of nothing behind him.
I have the clip here. It's only a few seconds. Why don't I play it? Then Michael, get your thoughts.
Yeah.
After the game, and it wasn't until later on in the night I was kind of moving around and felt a little soreness. Nothing that I was, really concerned about. Came in the next day and was, talking to the trainers, and I told them the same thing I'm telling you right now is, I'm not really concerned, but I just want to check it out a little bit, and that's kind of what I'm doing with this. It's just a little bit of soreness, and I'm not worried about it. If there was a game today, I'll do it.
So promising, Mike.
The most important part was if there was a game today, I would be good. Like that, right at the very end, that he threw in there. But I also think that it doesn't take all practice to get checked out, right? But he did not participate. I think that this goes back to someone that Matt mentioned, and Robinson. I think the Niners wanted to get him worked in and work him as much as possible. He was not listed there as limited or anything like that. He is off the suspension list. I think they wanted to give him some run and burn and use him as much as possible. With Pearsall and Jennings both being did not participate. This was a great opportunity for Bourne to get more reps. Again, getting him acclimated. We saw them using him a little bit more. Also, they used Sky Moore down the end at that last drive in particular. They targeted him. So those two guys being targeted on the last drive. And now you got Demarcus Robinson. Let's pull back some of the guys that we know the system, know what they can do. You guys don't participate. Continue to heal up. And let's throw these guys that we are going to start depending on a little bit more. Let's throw them and give them more reps here to see how they look. There's certain players that if you have a rest day listed, you're not concerned with, right? When people see Christian McCaffrey with a rest day, no one says, "Oh man, why?" Or if they say Christian McCaffrey was limited, no one's overly concerned, right? Like I think that he's different because he's under a microscope. But if Trent Williams, all of his rest days, no one seems to be concerned with those. I think this is the same thing that they're kind of giving to Ricky Pearsall. I think the Niners know what they have in this kid already, and so it was. I think to me, it was more about more opportunities for others. He said he came in, he told the training staff, like, I did feel some tightness in the knee. Like, if it was a game, I would be ready to play, blah, blah, blah. They were like, you know what? Just sit out. Let's work it. Let's hit it with the massage gun. Let's put some ice on it and then some heat on it, a little electroshock therapy on there, maybe a TENS unit or something like that on it. And then, we're going to test these other players out to see what we've got in these guys. So if you look at if it was any kind of real concern, I don't know if you saw the list of all the players that the Niners brought in. None of them were wide receivers. So there's no concern there at all from the team's perspective. It's nothing that we should be concerned with.
Yep. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, and by the way, him saying it and then them holding out of the practice is the only reason we know about it. Because they have to say something. If he would have participated today or was a full part, I don't even know that they put him on the injury report. So
Probably not. So good point.
Yeah.
Can we just take a second to really appreciate the fact that he has arrived? Like Ricky Pearsall, 3 games into the year is a dog. And going back to last year, because people kind of forgot. Last year, I know a lot of us like to put it in the back of our heads and bury it in a box deep underground in the middle of our brain. But his last 5 games, I pulled up this tweet here, going back 5 games, 8 for 141 and 1 touchdown, 6 for 69 and 1 touchdown, 4 for 108, 4 for 56 and 1 touchdown, and 8 for 117 this past Sunday. I mean, the dude is just, he really reminds me of Brandon Ayuk's 2023 year, where it's like 15 to 20 yards at a time, and it's just, he makes it look so easy. He's putting DBs in a blender. He's getting his no problem. I'm so happy for the 49ers. It really does make me feel like all of us kind of got gypped a little bit last year by being robbed of the experience of being able to see him at the same time as a healthy Ayuk, a Deebo Samuel, a George Kittle, before the injuries and everything that happened last year. But with Kyle Shanahan's record, he probably wouldn't even have gotten much burn anyway, so it is what it is. Okay, we talked about the injuries on both sides. What, I guess, is a key area on this game, on either end? The 49ers win this game if fill in the blank. Mike?
Oh, I'm glad you came to me first. Awesome. All right. So when you go through that list of people who were limited or did not participate for the Jaguars, there were 3 offensive linemen. 2 of them were guards. 2 of them were starters. And then the other one was the backup to the other starting guard. And so this is going to be another great opportunity for our defensive line to be tested. You know, last week we had the same thing with the Cardinals, and I think that the youth and the rotational guys, again, they came on a little bit more. Now, I think you said the pressure numbers went down, right? But I think we got our only sack after Bosa was gone, right? And so, you know, it's going to be more of an opportunity, especially on the inside, right? I know Nick Bosa plays edge, right? But that's really where the test is going to be, because that's where most of the youth is on this team. You got West Collins and Mykel Williams, and those guys take more snaps inside than they do outside. It's going to be more grounds for these guys to work on someone who is either banged up or a backup. And so that's where it's going to start for me. It's going to be with the defensive line getting home. And I'm not saying that because of Nick Bosa. I'm saying that because of the defensive tackle position in particular. We need to see these guys hold up on the inside, penetrate these gaps, and push some of these offensive linemen into the lap of Trevor Lawrence, and then stop the run. Those are their 2 prioritizing goals there. And so that's what I want to see from this game. I'm less concerned about what's going to happen on the edge because I don't picture Trevor Lawrence as a guy escaping the tackles, getting outside the tackles when he has to run. So you want to see that these guys can maintain their position or crash the pocket from the inside and then drive them into the laps of some of these defensive ends that we're going to have playing on Sunday.
And I saw, Matt, I'll come to you next, but I saw this stat here, which is going to make our life more difficult. From Next Gen Stats, the Jaguars, offensive line ranks 2nd in both pressure percentage allowed, 22.5%, and sack percentage, 2.6%. So their offensive line is playing very well. When I first read this, I thought it was like 2nd worst, but no, it's actually like best. So the 49ers will have a tough test for them without Nick Bosa as it is. Matt, what's kind of your biggest key to victory for Sunday?
Yeah, the 49ers are going to have to find a way to score in the 20s without turning the ball over. The big thing with the Jaguars, I believe they lead the NFL with 7 interceptions so far. The 49ers, I don't think, have gotten any. So they have to win the battle of the turnovers. They have to win the battle of the takeaways. You have to be able to turn your opponent over and not turn the ball over. And the Jaguars with 7 interceptions is pretty wild. So
it is, and it's unfortunate they haven't. The 49ers defense, they've forced a couple fumbles, but they haven't been able to. I'm trying to think, they didn't force one Sunday. I don't think there were any turnovers for the Cardinals.
Yeah, we did.
Did we force a fumble?
Wait, we didn't have a turnover on Sunday? I swear we did. Oh, no, you know what? I'm thinking about the 4th down stop. I'm thinking about the 4th down stop, which...
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm saying we don't have any interceptions.
Right.
As a team, saying, and we do not.
They forced a couple fumbles, but I think those are the only turnovers they've had. Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Fred forced the fumble against New Orleans, for sure.
Yeah.
But they have no interceptions, and the Jaguars already have 7 in 3 games, so...
It's wild.
They got to watch that.
Yeah. With Saleh back, you would think those numbers start to come back up with the turnovers. Haven't seen them yet, but that's okay because the defense has been really good.
I don't remember historically, except for maybe 2019, the 49ers really turning teams over that much. That's been my issue with this defense for like 6 years now, is that they don't turn over their opponent that much. They're better at forced fumbles than they are at interceptions for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing is that our DBs don't typically go for the ball as much as knocking it out. Like, all right, like they'd rather put themselves in a position to force the incomplete. Yeah, exactly. It's that
and
part.
Not, so and more importantly, not give up yak. They're in a position to make a tackle.
That right part, yeah, right. Yeah. So you know it's good. It's the good with the bad, right? It's exhausting for teams to throw a 6 yard, 7, 8 yard completion and get no yak afterwards, right? And it's like, God, like when's the big play going to come? And the downfield shots are where you look at that play that was made by Stout towards the end of the game there, right? Like I thought he was beat by 3 yards, right? And then all of a sudden, like, that ball's in the air, and he just closes that gap. He gets an arm up in between the receiver, and then it's an incomplete. I thought it was a catch until I saw the ball roll to the sideline, and I was like, crap, are they gonna rule that as a catch? And then he went to the ground, and the ball came out, and they were like, no, incomplete. It's like, holy smokes, right? Like, that's what this team prides themselves on. They want sticky receivers. And it's no good to be a sticky receiver if you're trying to get an interception, because if you miss, that guy's gone. So this team, I think it's the mindset and how they're trained. It's not that they're incapable of doing it.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of that one ridiculous season that Trayvon Diggs had where he had like 11 or 12 interceptions, but also gave up like 1,200 yards receiving. That's what that reminds me of.
And like 7 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, high reward, but also really high risk. And it's like, I'd much rather, like you were talking about, you know, the I think Upton Stout play, where you're like, oh, he definitely caught that. And then last second, that ball just comes out. And it's like, that's much better outcome even than potentially an interception, just because, you know, he was in position if he doesn't get the interception to make that tackle.
Also,
by the way, can I go back to the 49ers injury report real quick? Speaking of the DBs, it popped into my head. As soon as you said Renardo Green with a neck injury, I was like, what happened? He hurt himself watching receivers run by him or what? Like, because he's been busted. I don't know what's going on with him.
I'm gonna give him some slack. I think they're asking a lot of him. Last year he was the third corner nickel. He doesn't have to take the opposing team's second best receiver and shut him down. Teams don't like to throw out Lenore. He's just not tested that often, and he's holding that side down. So everybody's going at.
I know. Well, and that's the thing. You can do that too, right? It's just like, if you're playing the 49ers and you know Lenore, he plays what, the right side or the left side?
Lenore lines up on the offense's right, the defense's left.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm putting my best receiver on the other side then and letting him feast all day, because, you know, Lenore doesn't follow. If Lenore followed, then, you know, I think the 49ers would actually have a better time. It's just like, you just let Lenore lock down their top guy. But I think this is why the 49ers often see people like Jackson Smith and Jigba, when Seattle has nobody else, get unlocked, because they just move him around the formation to get him away from Deommodore Lenoir so that he can make plays on people who are, I mean, honestly, lesser than. And that's no shade to Renardo Green. But that's just how it goes. I still, with the call, by the way, in the end zone, how you going to call pass interference against somebody that wasn't even being targeted? That's still bullshit to me, but that's neither here nor there.
I think that opposing teams are going to quickly be limited in who they can put where. Right now, it's just Green. Stout is trending in the right direction. There was a bad call on Stout in that game. I did not think that was deserving of a 100%. Flag. Yeah, and I was like, I can't believe they called that. That was phenomenal coverage right there, right? And they're already not throwing to Deommodore Lenoir. I mean, unless you're coming out in 4 or 5 wide receiver sets, which you're not going to do, right? Like, unless you're coming out like that all the time, you're running out of options on who you can throw the ball to against the 49ers. So that's a positive thing. And I will take that all day over 20 interceptions. You know what I mean? So, yeah, give me that kind of lockdown coverage in the secondary.
Honestly, Siegel is trial by fire right now. So if he can improve his coverage too, then you're talking about a safety that has 4.3 speed that's going to be able to be decent in coverage. That's going to be really good. And we'll probably unlock Malik Mustafa once he's back.
Secondary's trending upward. I'm excited by it. I do think that they have some growing pains, as we've seen. I think a key to the victory, and then I'm going to get to the question that we had start from earlier, is actually just allowing the Jaguars coaches, one coach in particular, to continue doing his thing, and that's Shane Waldron. You guys all know Shane Waldron from his time in Seattle. JSN could not get anything going. And then he went, if my memory serves correctly, to Dallas, and Rome Odunze couldn't get anything going. DJ Moore struggled. Sorry, I said he went to Dallas. I think he went to Carolina. Or sorry, Chicago. And now he is with the Jaguars. And wouldn't you know it, Brian Thomas Jr. is having the worst start of his year. I saw this stat here. Since 2000, Brian Thomas Jr.'s 28% catch rate is the lowest of any receiver to see 25 or more targets through 3 weeks. For those counting, it ranks 522nd out of 522. So he is having like the worst year of any receiver through 3 games. And I drafted this dude in fantasy. I thought he was elite. Turns out he's only elite when number 10 is throwing to him, not number 16. Mac Jones unlocked Brian Thomas Jr., and now Mac Jones is on the 49ers side. So aside from Brian Thomas Jr., the Jaguars don't really have too many receiving threats. I know people are going to say, oh, Zach, they have the Travis Hunter, but has he really done anything?
Travis Hunter fucking sucks, dude.
I mean, there's nothing that's been done to
He's
prove.
not elite as a wide receiver. He's not elite as a corner. Like, he's okay at both, and I guess that gets you to be the number 2 overall pick. But I remember watching him during OTAs, and just there's a term that we used to use back when I was growing up. He's loppy. You know what I mean? Like, he runs like a fucking goof. Like, he looks very ungangly, very uncoordinated at times. Like, his route running is trash. He gets turned around. He has no like weight to him. I don't know, man. I'm not scared of Travis Hunter at all.
Yeah, no, it's Diami Brown is one of their top receivers right now, and he's even on the injury report, right? He didn't participate because of the shoulder. So, I mean, they're going to be hard pressed to do something in the passing game against the Niners here, especially with how well they've been playing. So, I'm with you guys.
Without looking, Mike, do either of you guys know who their leading receiver is right now? Who their leading target? Because it's not a receiver.
Oh, it's probably Travis.
It's
Etienne.
probably Etienne, yeah.
No, it's Cole Strange.
Oh, the tight end.
Sorry, Brendan Strange.
The tight end, yeah.
Yeah. He leads the team with 137 receiving yards on 13 catches.
You guys know what I've always said about tight ends, right? They're bad quarterback's best friend.
Yeah. And Diami is right behind him in receiving yards. So that's kind of my point, right? So he's had 53 receiving yards in one game or 52. Hold on, I just had it pulled up here. Hold on. Sorry, something popped up on my screen. There it is. He had 57, 52, and then 7. So what is that, a total of 64? Like he's right under him, 112 yards. Like he's right under him. 100. Like, so, yeah, I mean, it's nothing to write home about at all. And that's through 3 games so far. That's nothing to write home about. So the Niners are going to be okay. They're going to the Jaguars have to spread the ball around. Their offense is about quick releases, quick hits, getting the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands as quickly as possible, and they like to do that right in the middle and in front, kind of like what the Niners like to do, right? Like they want the passes to be straight across, right over the centers and guards and right in the middle of the field. The difference is that we've got really good guys right there in Fred Warner and D. Winters, right? So you're going to be hard pressed to get any good yardage with the Niners there. I do think this is going to be a tough game, though.
Let me get to this question, and then we could resume this preview. Niner Faithful had asked to start the show, how did I come up with 49ers Hive? It's funny. I would just talk to my girlfriend, now, fiance, soon to be wife, Ashley at the time, and I would just talk to football all the time, and I would just wouldn't shut the hell up, and I would just talk Niners football, and she would tell me, I got no problem listening to it, but I can't contribute to this conversation. Like, you need to find friends, basically. It's like I Love You Man, right? Or you need to find friends that also shared the same interest, and I just happened to start a Twitter, and I had a group, and I'm like, I think at first I called it like Up to the Minute Sports, and I was going to cover like every sport. And then I'm like, no. I'm not passionate about pretty much anything else other than the 49ers. I don't care about any of that shit. The Warriors I like, but not nearly as much as the 49ers, right? So then I changed it, and I'm like, well, shit, I don't know. Like, 49ers group. Like, it doesn't really make sense. 49ers boys. Like, I don't know. It sounds weird. And then just the Hive came up because it's like, we're all kind of like a hive. We're all kind of around the team and we're buzzing and we're all trying to just stay around. And the Niners are the beehive. So we're the 49ers hive. So I
You
guess
can
that's how
say
they
it.
came up.
You were inspired by Beyonce's group, the Beehive. Like that's what they call themselves. You can go ahead and admit it. Like, we're the Beyonce Hive. Like, that's what we are. It's
I have
cool.
the same jean shorts and everything. Exactly.
That Beyonce goes to a laundromat to wash, by the way, right? Like,
with diamonds.
yeah, because you got to make sure they're stone washed. Get it? Diamond stone. Okay, all right, I'm done.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So back to this game. That's how the name came up. Thankfully, it was catchy enough to stick. I think Travis Etienne is going to be a big problem for the 49ers defensively, especially without Nick Bosa just sealing the edge there. He's averaging, I just had it up here, almost 6 yards a carry, 5.9 yards per carry. He's got 270 yards on 46 carries. His longest of the year is 71. He only has one touchdown, but he's averaging 90 yards a game, 6 yards a pop. We saw how that worked against 49ers versus James Conner last week before he got hurt, and then Alvin Kamara the week previously. Does that strike any fear in your guys' heart? Does that cause you guys to concern, I guess?
I mean, you need to contain the running backs when you can. It's going to be him, and it is going to be a little bit of Trevor Lawrence too. The 49ers, again, struggle sometimes with those mobile quarterbacks, and Trevor Lawrence will take off and run on you. So you have to smack him and make him pay for running. I think they have to stop the run overall. And what you want is Trevor Lawrence sitting back there making mistakes, because inevitably that will come.
Yeah, I am concerned with the run game. I saw someone say, I don't know if the comment's still up there, that the Jaguars are winning the game with defense. The Jaguars are putting up just as many points a game as the Niners. They've put up 27, 26, and then 17, right? The Niners have put up, 26? 26-25 was the last game, right? Well, the last one we won by a field goal, but the Saints game was 26-25. Like the points are very similar between the two teams. I don't have the splits in front of me. And we've been winning on the back of special teams and defense making crucial stops at the end of games. So it's the two teams mirror each other very well. But here's the difference, and that was going back to Zach's point. 6 yards a carry. The Niners aren't doing that. We haven't been able to get those explosive carries that we would once in a while break off. That hasn't happened at all season long. I don't know what our longest rush is right now, but I think it's something along the lines of like 15 yards, right? Is that our longest rush on the year? Do you guys have those numbers? But it's not a lot. We don't have any of those 30, 40, 50 yarders. It's not happening at all. So
19.
19.
And that was Sunday, Brian Robinson.
That was Brian Robinson, yeah.
So we're not getting them, those explosive runs. And we're 3 weeks in. That is not the brand of 49ers football that we normally see. And we have seen, we've seen, hell, if you look at not last year but the year before, you look at what Christian McCaffrey did. It was 2 yards, 3 yards, 5 yards, 2 yards, 57 yards, and then 2 yards, 3 yards. Those big runs don't exist right now. And Kyle said that it's going to be hard for us to do those with the two shell. Are you saying FU? What does this mean?
I'm saying they're all getting called back by holding. Every single 10-yard or more running is holding.
Yeah.
I brought up this chart because this backs up what you're saying, Mike. This is change in yards before contact per attempt, and this is compared to last year. And for the people that say Christian McCaffrey looks different, he doesn't look the same, looks like he's lost a step, please allow your eyes to find the 49ers on this chart, and I'll give you a heads up. The more red it is, the worse it is. They are negative 1 yard when it comes to the change in yards before contact per attempt. The Jaguars, on the other hand, are at the very top with almost a yard positive.
What that means is if we were getting contact at 4 yards after the carry, like, all right, you get 4 yards and then there's your first contact. Now it's only 3. If we were getting contact at 2 yards, now it's down to only 1. So we are getting hit a whole yard earlier. That means the offensive line isn't blocking the way that they were before.
Yeah, which comes down to a lot. I mean, you have a new guy in there, in Connor Colby, who's also dinged up. He has that groin injury. Pooney, I don't know if he's healthy yet. He keeps getting fallen on. Every time I go to a commercial, players are falling on his knees backwards and sideways. It's like, damn it, dude, can this dude just not get fallen on for one game? And Trent is aging. Surprisingly, Brendel and McKivitz have been like two of the most solid pieces of this line, which is like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Is that infuriating to you guys?
A little bit. I put out a tweet
like it.
As a troll, and I put a picture of Drake Brendel and a picture of Will Anderson Jr. of the Texans, and I said the 49ers need edge help. The Texans need offensive line help. Seems like a no-brainer to me. Maybe they could throw in a 4th rounder to sweeten the deal. Kind of try to, make it seem ambiguous. But the joke was the Texans throwing the deal. And I can't tell you how many people took that shit seriously. Are you fucking kidding me? You think Jake Brendel would be traded straight up for Will Anderson Jr.? I'm like, it's a joke, dude.
Like, no, that's the joke, dude.
Yes. So thankfully somebody replied, like, I can't believe how many people are taking this seriously. Like, thank you. Yes, it was just, I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt. Thank you, Mike. I'm hurting for Nick Bosa. I've expressed my pain through humor. But, the running game has been a big disappointment, and we really need the 49ers to get their shit together and get it going. I don't know if this will be the week. They got Joshua Hines-Allen, and I'm forgetting the other defensive lineman that they had. They drafted anyone?
You talking about the Jaguars lineman?
Mm-hmm. It's not Hutchinson. It's they took him number 1 overall, didn't they? Which allowed Aiden Hutchinson to go to the Lions.
No. Number 1 overall was. You're not talking about this year.
No. Couple years back.
Their defensive line, they have Hines-Allen, Hamilton, and Walker. Trayvon Walker.
Thank you.
Trayvon Walker is the guy you're talking about.
Yeah. So, I don't know. If they can't get the running game going against the Jaguars. Go ahead.
I wanted to say this really quick, too. I keep seeing people, the Niners should trade for Buckner. No, we shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And it's not a knock on Buckner at all. I have no idea what his PFF numbers say or anything like that, but they're saying that in direct response to Nick Bosa being out. I don't want Buckner on the edge. I don't want Buckner on the edge. If we were down defensive tackles, maybe you could make an argument for it. That's not the case. We need a pass rusher, and that's not what he is. Did we use him that way? Yes. Was it good for him? No. So let's let that idea go. No to Buckner, please, guys. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to ask you guys this because I see his name in the chat here by Ian Sharp. The next comment right there. Are you guys ready to give Garindo some more burn as running back too?
Nope.
No?
Trash.
That quickly?
Trash. Trash.
But you can't tell me you're happy with Robinson, are you?
I'd rather see Jordan James.
Oh, shit.
Like, I don't know what I have in Jordan James. I'd like to see it. He's been a healthy scratch for however long now.
2 weeks, I think.
Garendo, I've seen enough of him running into the wall on kick returns that I just don't think so.
I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to it, but I really don't think I'm surprised at the step back Kyle Shanahan has made him take this year. I thought he really wasn't poised for a big second year. He would be the one to spell McCaffrey, which hasn't happened at all. McCaffrey has like 71 touches through 3 games or something crazy like that. But that's neither here nor there. And then they trade for Robinson, which, negates Garendo to only kickoff returns. He doesn't even do punts because we drafted Sky Moore for that too. So he's kind of in the doghouse right now, and I think something would have to happen performance-wise for him to move up in the running backs room. But I guess
was he that bad last year? Because I felt like he was more than serviceable. Like I thought he was trending in the right direction. Yeah. So what changed that made them say, okay, not only do we need to go and get more running backs because they drafted guys, right? Like they picked up undrafted guys. But then it was also, and I know the injuries, but like then it was like, well, we also got to trade for Robinson. Like, was he that hurt, that injured. Like, look at how long we rode this train with. There's two guys in particular that make me like scratch my head. Maybe this is the Niners learning from their mistakes, right? But look at how long they kept what's the bad knees got McKinnon around, and then look at how long they kept
Elijah
he's
Mitchell
now with
around.
the Chiefs. Yes, Elijah Mitchell. Like, what the hell? Like, Garindo hasn't been that injured. Like, why are they giving up so quickly on him and doing what they're? I don't know, man. It feels weird. Like they traded for Robinson and they drafted a guy.
He had a hamstring injury, a groin injury, a foot strain, another hamstring injury, and an MCL and ankle sprain in his rookie year.
It's a lot.
Okay, all right. Well, when you run down the list like that and say his rookie year, okay, never mind. All right, fine. I get you.
Yeah. Like you want to try to be a home run hitter and then limit the amount of contact he's going to take. So you put him on kick returns, but then he just like runs into everybody. I don't know.
But shouldn't you give him like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 carries a game? Like that's speed.
Like I said, I'd rather see Jordan James.
But Jordan James doesn't even have his speed.
It doesn't matter when you can't get blocking, though. There's been no avenues for anybody to run.
Full circle comment.
So all you're asking him to do is get tackled, and if he has fumble issues, which he does, then you're potentially putting the ball in harm's way. So,
which is the chart that's on the screen now.
This get the fuck out of here, man. Jeff Wilson Jr. is trash.
Hey.
Trash.
No, we will not slander. We will not slander Jeff Wilson Jr. here.
He's made his living off of one fucking play, off of that 0 blitz.
Be gone, demon.
No. Boo,
That's
you guys.
cheap.
Boo this
He
man.
looked good in preseason. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm booing you guys.
So did Jalen Hurd, by the way. Where'd he end up?
Oh, okay. All right. Touche.
Anyway, back to the chart that's on the screen. Yards before contact versus stuffed run rate. You'll see the top left, good run blocking. Jaguars are not too far below that. Bottom right, bad run blocking. 49ers are not too far above that. Some of the worst teams, unfortunately, they are grouped next to the Bengals. As far as in the running game, Bengals, Giants, Chargers.
So on this chart, you want to be the top left.
Yes, sir.
Which is the opposite of other good charts. You want to be on the top right.
Right. But look who's over there in the top left.
The
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh wait, I actually have a button for that. My bad.
So
that's what I'm saying. This game isn't going to be a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. We're going to have to really get our run defense locked in and ready to go. Fred Warner's going to have to be ready to go. D. Winter's going to have to be ready to go. And we're going to have to depend on guys like Siegel and Jair Brown, even, believe it or not, right? Who is surprising the shit out of me. Maybe limited snaps in this big nickel, as they call it. This hybrid linebacker role that he's playing. It's actually paying dividends for him. And shout out to Robert Saleh for identifying what this kid's strengths are and then using him the right way. He's given me something else to talk about because I was ready to throw in the book and the towel on Jair Brown, and you guys know how hard that is for me to do. And I think that this might be the Jersey guy that I gave up the fastest on. I was still pounding the table for Kevin White years ago. You know what I'm saying? And he never did anything for the 49ers. At least Jair Brown picked off Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, right? But I was ready to say it's a wrap for him. Robert Saleh has found a way for him to contribute to this team in a positive way. And Brant Boyer has used him in special teams as well. But we're going to need all of those guys. I'm talking about the guys behind the defensive line to really contribute to try to contain this Jaguars run game. That is going to be their bread and butter here. So it is going to look, that run game is going to be the key to it all. It really, really is. I need to see the Niners not have another game where we go into halftime and the other team had the ball for 23 minutes and we only had it for 7. Robert. Oh. Kyle Shanahan had a comment the other day, and he said something along the lines of, we were going, before our last drive at halftime, we realized we only run 6 plays.
2, 3.
What? What? That is crazy. We went into halftime with a lead, by the way, but the fact that if you remove our very last drive, we only had the ball for 6 plays in the entire first half, that is insane to me. That is absolutely insane. So I don't even know how you do that. How do you get 6 points, which were both field goals, out of basically one drive? Like, you know, you had 2, 3, and I don't get it.
The last drive got plays, right? But
Yes.
prior to that, I think they got their first down at 8 minutes left in the second quarter, which is just insane. That's when they got their first down Sunday.
But how do we went into halftime 6-3?
Up 6-3.
We scored twice. So if we didn't get turnovers, how did that happen? And I'm not trying to be funny at all. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. It's the first time I've done a preview show without having rewatched the previous game. How do we get 2 field goals and we didn't get any first downs except for that last drive where we got a field goal? I'm not even kidding. I don't know how that's possible.
First drive, 3 plays, 6 yards, punt. Second drive, 3 plays, 1 yard, punt. And then the third drive, 9 plays, 49 yards, ends in a field goal. And that took us down to 4 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second quarter. Cardinals go 3 and out, punt. And then the 49ers got the ball back and went 11 plays, 53 yards for a field goal.
Okay. So he was talking about the first 3 possessions. He didn't mean the final possession. Okay. That makes way more sense. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Let's see. So we talked about the running game, talked about the passing game. We get Demarcus Robinson back this week. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Expectations? Any expectations for Demarcus Robinson, or is it too soon? Kyle Shanahan kind of said we'd take a wait-and-see approach. I assume he means with where he's at, stamina-wise, where he's at with the playbook. Matt, do you have any expectations for Demarcus Robinson Sunday?
I mean, I would temper expectations for sure, but the more you can get out there and kind of try to take the focus off of Ricky Pearsall, the better Ricky Pearsall is going to be. I would say Robinson's probably going to be a step up from Kendrick Bourne, who's been kind of like meh on his return to San Francisco, hasn't really done much. So they need somebody out there that can man opposite Ricky Pearsall. Juwan Jennings has been banged up. You're still missing Brandon Ayuk, who, depending on how they want to do this, can probably open his practice window after this game, and then they have 3 weeks to decide what they're going to do. It'll be interesting to see that decision, but right now it's like no Kittle, it's Ricky Pearsall, who's, by the way, 3rd in the NFL in receiving yards after 3 games, despite being really the only actual threat the 49ers have on offense. I'd like to see Robinson fill the role of chain mover, but again, how good a shape did he stay in while he was away?
Hopefully good shape. Mike, do you have any expectations? I'll ask you the same question. What are you expecting?
No, I just wanted to counter something that Matt said. But as far as Demarcus Robinson goes,
is it about Kendrick Bourne?
Hell yeah, it's about Kendrick Bourne, man. I think that guy has been a shot. He has been the adrenaline needle that you put into someone who, not adrenaline. Is it adrenaline that they put into someone who's like flatlining, like to like try to get them to? Is that what it is, Matt? Matt, you're the medical guy. I'm asking you. Like, you're on mute, buddy.
Essentially, yeah, epinephrine.
He has been the epinephrine shot that you give to, like, just watching him interact with these wide receivers on the team, and not just Pearsall, because Pearsall's been doing this thing, right? But like, he is like high-fiving and dancing with everybody out there, and I know, like, what the hell does that contribute to the game? But morale makes a huge difference in a game. Like, it really, really does, right? Like, you are he is creating momentum on the sidelines. Now, as far as stats, fine. No, he's not really doing it. What has he got? Like 4 catches on the year for like 27 yards or some shit like that.
Seven for 70, which is more than I thought. But
oh, well, it's significantly more than I thought. Now that you say it like that, holy shit! But even still, like, it doesn't feel like that, because it almost feels like it's inconsequential. Like, he's not doing anything that we can recall. Like, I think he's got like 3 first downs or something like that. So cool for him. He's not really doing anything major for the team, but I do think that it bodes well for us. Like, we need.
I just meant statistically, you want Robinson to do more than what Kendrick Bourne has done,
and that's the important part. And I do think that he will. Right, like Robinson, not for nothing. And this is not me trying to hype this guy up or anything like that. This guy could legitimately be wide receiver 1 on some teams in the NFL. And so when you couple him with a guy like Ricky Pearsall, this is going to be the poor man version of Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall. Like, that's what we're about to get right now. And so that's what we want to see. We want to see real route runners, guys who know their assignments, like mentally like just endowed inside the playbook. Like these are guys that are going to be going out there and just doing it. You know that what they're doing is the right thing. I can't tell you how many times I've seen throws from whether it be Brock Purdy or Mac Jones, and then they're going to the receiver like this afterwards, like, oh no, you were supposed to do that type of thing, right? We've seen that too many times in these first 3 games. And I'm saying too many times, it's probably happened a total of 5 times. But you see that they're on different pages with certain guys at certain times. You don't have to worry about that with Pearsall. You're not going to have to worry about that with Ayuk, and you're not going to have to worry about that with a guy like Demarcus Robinson. These are consummate professionals who are going to go out there and be in the right place at the right time. So I am looking forward to his contributions here. As far as speed goes, you're not going to get it. The speedy guys are the ones mentioned in Howdy's comment there, MVS and Sky Moore, but these guys are never in the right place at the right time. Like they're always fucking up. I'm outside of that last drive in the last game. Cool, good for Sky Moore, right? Because he was one of the guys that we depended on to get into field goal position. But other than that, like this guy's a complete fuck up as a wide receiver. I don't like him on this roster. I've been saying it, I'm going to continue to say it. But I do think that Demarcus Robinson is going to be the guy that kind of comes in and settles everything down and says, hey, you got more than one option right now, Kyle. You can depend on me. I know George Kittle's not here. I know Brandon Ayuk's not here. I am going to be a guy that you can depend on. We saw it in preseason. This guy not only had chemistry with Brock Purdy throughout training camp, but we saw it on the field in preseason. Then we saw him continue to do the same exact things with guys like Mac Jones, right? So this is something that we want to see. I think I even saw him catch 2 catches from it wasn't Mordecai, the other one, Bradley. We had a guy named Bradley on the team. He caught passes even from Bradley, which shows you that they put him on the field when they want to build confidence in the more inexperienced guys back there. This is going to bode well for the 49ers. I really do. So Robinson, as far as if you want me to try to like predict the stat line for his first game back, I don't think it's going to be a whole lot. Give me 3 catches for, 41, 42 yards, something like that. Like, it's not going to be a whole lot, but he's going to be someone that they can depend on. They know that he's going to be in the right place at the right time. If he can become a 3rd and Juwan type guy, we are in great condition. Imagine someone of Demarcus Robinson's talent becoming a 3rd down receiver, a possession guy, right? Like, that's saying something about this team. They went out and they made the right investments in the offseason, guys. Like, they really did the right things. Now it's time to start bearing that fruit.
So, Demarcus Robinson, I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial. Now, bear with me. Stick with me here. He reminds me of when the 49ers acquired an Anquan Bolden. Now, not to that extent, because Anquan Bolden came in and his first game had like 212 receiving yards against the Cardinals or the Packers or something like that. Not to that extent, right? But it's a guy who's been in the league for a long time, knows how to be a consummate professional, has had relative success everywhere he's been, can come in, can be dependable. Like you said, Mike, he could be a first receiver on a handful of teams in the NFL. Like, he is a good, solid option for the 49ers, and he knows how to play the position the right way. He knows how to handle being, this is going to sound stupid. He's just coming off a suspension for a DUI, but he knows how to be a pro when it comes to being a football player, right? So I kind of get flashbacks to that. Also, I just had the thought that came to my head when Howdy said, MVS and Sky Moore. The 49ers basically have the Chiefs wide receiving core minus Tyreek Hill from a few years ago. I mean, you got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you got Sky Moore, you got Demarcus Robinson. We're 1 or 2 away. You might as well throw Patrick Mahomes in here. We got the same offense. So I just thought that was an interesting note. But I'm excited. I really am excited. Yeah. I think he's going to bring a lot to the offense.
Hey, and Mike, just so that nobody comes after you on Twitter or anything else, Demarcus Robinson's career high in receiving yards is 505, so I don't think he could be wide receiver 1 pretty much anywhere. But
that's all he's got in his entire career?
The 505 is his high for a season.
To be fair, that was terrible. Last year. So he's trending up.
It's just, I mean, listen, all you want is death by 1,000 mids. Like, just get some mid-ass wide receivers out there, and they're eventually going to get somebody that can complement Ricky Pearsall. I mean, they only got to make it like 2 or 3 more weeks, right? And then Ayuk will be back, and then you at least have some, and Kittle will be back, and then you at least have some threat out there. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'll be good. I think he'll be really good for the offense. I'm excited, especially if Juwan is healthy. You get Juwan, or not healthy because he is injured, but is healthy enough to play. You get Juwan, you get Robinson, you get Ricky. And by the way, am I the only one who's been like pleasantly surprised at Jake Chonges? Like, I know he's not George Kittle, but damn, has he been like the best second tight end we've had since Jordan Reed? And that's saying, not saying much, but at least he can catch, right? Like, at least he comes through clutch. I don't know if you guys had any thoughts, but anytime I see him catch, I'm like, hey, Jake Chonges.
Yeah, so I've made it a point to say in the last couple of shows that I've done, and I think once on here with you guys also, the Niners have 3 tight ends with touchdowns through the first 3 weeks of the NFL season. That has not happened in the Kyle Shanahan regime ever. Like, I'm not kidding, ever. Like, all 7, 8 years, 2017, this is year 7, 8, this is year 8. It hasn't happened the whole time he's been here where he had 3 tight ends. The only one that's missing is Braden Willis. He's the only one that doesn't have one that's on the active roster, right? And so Kittle got his. You got Farrell. You got Tungus. Sorry for the mispronunciation. They're all doing what they're being asked right now. And they did target Willis one time down in the red zone, but he didn't get it. So, like, they even tried to do that one there, right? Like, they are making it a point to sprinkle in these guys where they can. Now, no one's going out and taking over a game in the way that a George Kittle can, but just be there when we need you to. Go out there, block. You're seeing some of the plays that I had been pounding the table for the Niners to do. You want to see that guy in red zone jam on the line and then eke out to the side. They've been doing that this year. Like, we're finally looking like a competent NFL offense when we get the opportunity. So it's all going in the right direction, man. It feels good. Right. It does.
Can I add also, I saw a play Sunday against the Cardinals. Ton just held his own against the defensive end. I mean, really, really good pass blocking. And the guy had a running start, and it allowed Mac Jones to step back and to drop back and hit, I think Ricky for like a 20-yard gain. But the camera pans, and Tonjes is just holding his own up against one of the Cardinals' DEs. It was really impressive. So finally, we don't have to choose between one or. Do you know what I'm talking about, Mike? Or did that ring a bell? Or
no, it does. There were 2 plays that were highlighted. That was one of them, and then the other one was Colton McKivitz with a pancake on the sideline. But did you guys see that play? And they showed how the sideline reacted to those plays. Like, those were the 2 plays that had people going crazy on the sideline. Like, those guys are like, they're watching this kind of stuff, and it's like, who notices that? Now, the McKivitz play happened literally on the sideline right in front of the bench, so they went crazy. But those are the plays. Those 2 plays right there were like, these are guys that a lot of people around the league, forget the league, a lot of people in the 49ers fan base have pegged as replacement level players making those kind of plays, and like, that's going to pay dividends. We got to continue to hype those guys up. If we can't cheer for them, who the hell else will and can, right? And so we got to find ways to encourage those guys, and that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Like, we got to be those cheerleaders for these guys. So
that McKivitz block was on that 19-yard run to Brian Robinson, so he was out there as a lead blocker. Okay, let's get into some predictions and wrap up the show. It's getting late here. I can smell dinner is ready for me. Mike, since you're on the big screen, start on defensive end. Defensive
All right.
prediction.
Defensive player of the game, right? That's what we're doing here?
Yes, sir.
I am going to go with D. Winters. Sorry, I know I took someone's answer. No, maybe not. All right, I'm going to go with D. Winters here. I think that he is going to have 7 tackles and 1 sack. I think they're going to send him in 7 tackles and a sack for D. Winters. They are going to have to get really creative with how we generate pressures to kind of supplement for the absence of Nick Bosa. And so I think they're going to use him that way. They're probably going to send him in 2 or 3 times throughout the duration of the game. I know that they like to do some of those corner or safety blitzes instead, but I do think that they're going to send him in a time or 2. No interceptions like that. You know what I will say? I'll tell you what. I'll add this to it. 7 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble by D. Winters. And if he doesn't cause a forced fumble, he'll hold someone up for Fred to come in and get a punch out.
There you go. There you go. Matt, I don't know if you want to do it in his place. You gotta
here we go. Let's see. Yeah, I can't, this is what I've been waiting for the whole time. Like, Matt can't say it now. What are we going to do?
I know. Well, I got to go with the captain. I got to go with the leader. I got to go with All-Pro Fred. I'm going to say he's going to have 12 tackles, a pick, and a forced fumble today.
Damn.
Well, or Sunday, I should say. He's been doing it for years now. So in absence of Nick Bosa, we got to retire the 3 sacks and forced fumble thing for at least the rest of this year. But listen, we're gonna get a pick and a forced fumble out of Fred Warner there with
Did
10
you
to
say
12
tackles?
Yeah, 12
You
tackles.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be flying around the field.
Let's do it. For me, give me the rookie, Mykel Williams. I'm going to say he has 6 tackles, 3 of which are tackles for a loss, and 1 sack, plus 2 passes batted down. I think he's going to have a great game. Maybe no sacks. Or wait, no, I think I said 1 sack. Maybe not a ton of sacks, but he's going to show up. I mean, he had some beastly plays Sunday against the Cardinals. A lot of people that weren't a fan of this pick are starting to come around and see what others are seeing, see what the 49ers saw. He is a lot to deal with as an opposing offense. So I think Mike Hill is going to make the Jaguars offensive line lives hell on Sunday. So give me Mike Hill. Mike, offensive.
All right, offensive. By the way,
Do you have
on
any
Mike Hill,
thoughts?
did you see that play where he like slammed the running back to the ground and
Yeah,
got up and like
James
flexed
caught-
right? I
It was
like,
third
oh
and
my
1.
God,
It was third and 1, and
yes.
he stuffed him for a 2-yard loss. Unfortunately, they got the
gets the
4th
tackle
down,
for loss.
but
Yeah.
it was great.
Phenomenal play by him, man. And like that shit got me so fired up. And like it was like the flex that he did afterwards. Like he gets up and he's like, yeah, like I did that shit. And I'm like, yes, like he's finally coming into his own. All right. Offensive player of the game for me in this one. I am going to go with Brian Robinson. I think he's going to have worse stats than Christian McCaffrey, but I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns in this game. I think the Niners get down into the goal-to-go situation a couple of times, and one of them is going to be off of the back of a big Christian McCaffrey run, maybe to like the 2 or 3. Christian McCaffrey's going to tap the helmet. I need a breather. They're going to do some quick up-tempo type thing, and they're going to give the ball to Brian Robinson, and he is going to run it in for the touchdown. I got Brian Robinson with 2 touchdowns, only a total of like 10 to 12 carries, a handful of yards, maybe 30 yards, but the 2 touchdowns is going to be enough to give him the player of the game for me.
Okay. I like it. Matt? You muted.
I'm going to take a risk because there's no guarantee that he plays, but if he does, I'm going to go with Brock Purdy. I think he's going to make a statement when he comes back, show the people why Mac Jones can't carry his jock, and lead the 49ers to at least 5 touchdown drives. We're going to get a 35-point outburst from the 49ers. I don't even give a shit. Let's go.
There we go. Just like when we faced the Jaguars in 2023, right?
Yeah, just fucking spank them up.
Yeah.
How did my man Mac Jones catch strays in this? That is crazy. That's wild.
He caught strays when everybody filleted themselves all over his performance against the Saints,
All right.
and then he came back and had like I said you need to wait and see what you got in Mac Jones, and he was very, 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 very average against the Arizona Cardinals.
So let me
Until
ask
he
you
got
this.
into the 2-2-minute drives. That's when he looked the best, but that's like
Yes.
everybody looks good in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Everybody looks
there.
good in 2-minute drives. It's tempo.
So my follow-up question:
when you run the 2-minute offense, that's all the head coach. That's all the play caller.
Yeah,
because
it's-
you
it's
take
all
the
on play
decision out of
calling,
the
yeah.
quarterback's hands. So
right, it's one read normally and all that stuff. No, you can
Yeah.
switch it back. My question is going to be for Matt. If Brock doesn't play,
yes,
then who is going to be?
Christian McCaffrey.
Sorry, Zach. I gotta ask him because
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you guys.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I had to ask him because I don't want people to be like, oh, he didn't even play. So Matt, who would it have been?
I know.
So that's what I'm asking.
I'll go with Christian McCaffrey. I feel like he's, again, much ado about nothing for his like demise or whatever. The whole like offensive line hasn't blocked for him, but if you can get just a little bit of blocking and you worry about the Jaguars running pass rush, maybe he gets like a draw play that gets him big yardage or something. But he needs to get into the next level before he can the second level, I should say, before you could expect him to make really any moves. And he's been close on a couple where it's like a shoestring tackle away from like a massive gain. So he's going to get there. It's just a matter of time. And remember that because he didn't even really play in the preseason, you're looking at the first game or two as him kind of working up to that full load. Notice on the injury report that they're no longer listing the calf. They just say did not participate. It's a rest day. They've taken the calf designation out of it. So you would expect, okay, now he's getting up to speed. He hasn't had any setbacks with the calf. He should be good to go.
Phenomenal call by Matt right there.
So for me, I'm just getting my notes right to make sure I have I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But one real quick.
I really like that pick, Matt. And that is a good a note that you made there on the injury designation for Christian McCaffrey, right? Like, no one's even talking about that. The calf isn't a listed issue for him anymore.
Good point.
I still don't like the way you treated my man, Isaac Garindo, but it's cool.
Okay.
I respect you.
So the teams that the Jaguars have faced recently, this season, I should say, started off the season with I just had it up. Panthers. They allowed 5 for 68 to Tetro McMillan. And then they played the Bengals. Jamar Chase went off for 14 for 165 and 1 touchdown. Most of that was with Jake Browning, by the way. And then last week they faced the Texans, and Nico Collins went off for 804 yards, 8 receptions, 104 yards, and 1 touchdown. You guys know what it is. Give me Ricky Pearsall, 9 catches, 165 yards, and I think he gets his first touchdown of the year. He's going to absolutely cook this Jaguars defense. They have a hard time stopping opposing wide receivers. In my opinion, the only one of this in here that is similar to him is Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase obviously better than Ricky, but I think he can have similar success to Jamar Chase. So give me 8 for 165 and 1 touchdown. Let's go. Final score predictions. Mike, start us off.
All right. I am going to have this game a relatively moderate scoring game. I'm going to say 28-27 Jacksonville. I got the Niners taking their first loss of the season. I can see them driving down at the end, trying to make a play happen, and Mac Jones does Mac Jones things and just turns the ball
so you don't
over.
think Purdy's going to play?
I do not think – no, I don't think Purdy is going to play.
Interesting. No. Interesting.
Now, if you listen to the presser from today, Kyle said that all 3 quarterbacks were getting first-team reps because Purdy and Jones, who was listed as
Mac
injured,
still has a PCL.
Yeah. All 3 of them are injured, and he did say that all 3 are not injured. The first 2, Jones and Purdy, are injured, and he did say Martinez would get some first-team reps. I still don't want the Niners to rush Purdy back. So if he and Jones's injuries are, let's just say, equal in whatever the scale is, I think Purdy should be the third guy. I think Purdy means more to this team long-term than what Mac Jones does. I would rather see, this is going to sound terrible, I would rather see Martinez start this game in particular than Purdy, if that means that you're rushing him back. So 28-27 for the Jaguars here. I got this as our first loss.
Okay. Matt?
I have it a high-scoring game for the 49ers. I just can't get down with anything the Jaguars do. They've looked rather unimpressive in their first couple games. I'm not really sold on them. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence, who was supposed to be the hype. Man, what was it? The 21 class is one of the worst quarterback classes of all time. Like, that whole class is just trash between him and Lance and Jones and Fields, and that's a terrible class. Everybody seemed to underperform. Zach Wilson, like, God, what a bad draft class for quarterbacks. And it was supposed to be like the 84 class, but I say the 49ers. Listen, I think Brock Purdy's going to play. I think that, like I said, the 49ers are going to go on 5 touchdown drives, so that I would have the 49ers 38, Jaguars 24.
Okay.
I did want to point out really quick that the Jaguars are averaging 23.3 points a game, and the Niners are at 19.3 points a game. I remember people saying like the Jaguars are winning only off of their defense and all that. That was the stat that I wanted to share with you guys. Like they're putting up more points a game.
Do you need me to read out their opponents again?
I mean, all right, the Panthers, cool, right? But the Bengals have
no.
Nope.
You can't even finish that sentence.
I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it. But the Texans have a decent defense. Their offense just sucks, man. Stroud is just sucking. Anyway, that's my guy, so I don't want to trash him too much. But yeah, so they put up I think 17 points against the Texans, something like that, right? Like 10-17 or something like that with that game. So yeah, but they have been putting up points. And now while you point out their opponents, people are going to say the same thing about us. We played the Saints, we played the Cardinals, and we played the Seahawks. Now the Seahawks might have the better defense of all 6 opponents between the 2 teams so far.
I would add 2 of which with our backup quarterback, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Whoa.
Shut up. You guys got that. Yeah.
We got $100 super chat from Gray Fox. Thank you very much, Gray Fox.
Right there.
Bam.
Gray Fox holding it down. Much love, man.
Thank you very much. If the team can hold, that's right. I know. Press them all. If the team can hold until the offense is healthy,
excuse me, bitch.
They can become the +1 offense in the second half. Pearsall, Ayuk, Kittle, and Bourne, and Robinson, and JJ as third receiver plus CMC. Man, that is a nightmare for defensive coordinators. They're going to have to be live in a nickel or dime. They're going to have to live in a nickel or dime. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like you said, Pearsall, Ayuk, Kittle, and then you throw in Bourne, Robinson, and Juwan Jennings. I mean, the 49ers just have to pray that they can stay healthy and get all these dudes on the field at the same time. Great Fox, thank you so much for the contribution, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Amazing. Mike?
Let me add to his point, right? Like he's saying plus CMC, right? Not DeMarcus Robinson, but Brian Robinson is also getting more and more acclimated in this game. It's not a coincidence that he's got the longest rush of the year, right? And like Matt said, I believe it was Matt, like there was a shoestring tackle or 2 that stopped Christian McCaffrey from getting big ones. This offense is dying to explode. But the problem is that they're playing these 2 high safeties, and Kyle has come straight out and said, like, it's really hard to get explosive runs on that. Not every team is going to do that. We are going to get to the sweet spot of this schedule, and the teams are going to get easier. Guys, don't forget that we have played 2 of our 3 games against division opponents who know exactly what the 49ers like to do, right? Those are the tougher games, right? We've seen really, really weird division games. You don't believe me? Just look at this past week, 30-0, and that was the worst team in the NFL, Carolina Panthers, against another team in the Atlanta Falcons, right? Division games are just fucking weird. So take those 2 games away, and let's start to see what it looks like when we get outside of teams that are familiar with what Kyle Shanahan likes to do and this offense likes to run. This offense is dying. I mean, there are horses in the stables, like just rearing, waiting for you to open that gate so they can take off. Those greyhounds ready to chase the little stuffed rabbit, right, around the track. Like they are primed and ready. And when the reinforcements come back, to Gray Fox's point, the league is going to be in trouble. The league is going to be in a lot of trouble. So great super chat there.
Thank you very much. Again, really appreciate it. That's why it's so important to get these buffer games up front, right? These are the games the 49ers were like supposed to lose because they're beat up. But if they continue to win these games, it allows them to get healthy at their own pace, and it allows them to really come on that much stronger to end the season, the second half.
And this is what we had identified prior to the season, but we didn't think that the injuries would be this extensive. You know, we thought Kittle would be there and everything else, but we looked at these games as like, hey, can you hold us over until Rams or Bucks so that we can get Brandon Ayuk back and truly unlock this passing game? And it's turned out that we've needed it because there's been other injuries everywhere else.
Even more, yeah. Even more than, unfortunately. But, Mike, to your point, you know, familiar opponents in the Cardinals and the Seahawks. And that's why I have the 49ers taking this one Sunday, because it is an unfamiliar opponent that is not used to how the 49ers like to do business, how they like to run their offense, how they like to run their defense. I got the 49ers taking this. Give me 24-16. I think they take this one pretty comfortably. Trevor Lawrence has yet to strike fear in my heart. Going against him, watching him, the only team with a solid defense. They put up 17 points again, and that's the Texans. They beat the Bengals. Oh no, they lost to the Bengals 31-27, and a lot of that was against the backup quarterback. And then they, the Panthers, week 1, you beat them 26-10. Congratulations, join the club. I think the 49ers can handle business pretty comfortably here. And I'm going to go even on a further note. I don't give a shit who plays quarterback. Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, Aiden Martinez, Zach Hernandez, Mike Andrews. It don't matter. Anybody out there is going to go out there and whoop this Jaguar ass. So give me the 49ers 24-16. That's my final thought.
And to piggyback on what you just said, right? That one game that they played a team with a decent defense, right? The Texans offense threw 2 interceptions and lost a fumble. And by the way, they only had the ball for 2 less minutes than the Jaguars offense. So that's to your point.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he threw the ball 40 times, 20 for 40, 222 and 1 interception, sacked twice. 50% completion rate. Absolutely disgusting. All right, we're going to wrap up here, guys. Gray Fox, thank you again so much for your contribution. We really do appreciate it. You're the man. Mike, please let the folks know where to find you. I'm sure they already know, but in case they don't.
You guys got me wanting to change my prediction now because we run the same style of defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, as the Texans, you guys got me wanting to change my prediction. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm really ready to change this thing to a 49ers win, but I just don't know about Mac Jones for the 3rd game, right? You're back up winning 2 games. I think that's kind of normal. We've seen the Niners do that before. Anyway, you guys can find me Nothing But Niners on YouTube. If you guys aren't already there, please make sure you subscribe. If you're watching from the 49ers Hive channel, please come on over and join us on the Nothing But Niners YouTube. We have a lot of content coming out. It's a lot of my ugly face, but a lot of good takes, I promise you guys. Maybe some takes that'll make you pull your hair out also, right? I don't know. But make sure you check us out there. And then head on over to the Patreon page. It's right here, patreon.com/NB9ERS. There's even more videos over there than what you're getting on the YouTube page. So you don't miss out on a whole lot on the YouTube page, but there is extra content, and you get to watch the game with us live, like experience the whole thing. It's a great environment. It's a great experience. Now, I will say that this Sunday, my job has me doing inventory. The stream will be there, but I'll be popping in and out from my mobile device while everything is running here at home. My wife will be in the command center trying to run things for me. It's going to be a little shaky. We're going to do some practice runs over here, but I promise you guys, you will get the game up and running. So patreon.com/NB9ERS.
Check it out, guys. Go subscribe. Premium 49ers content.
And underneath, Zach, it says 49ers Hive. If you guys are watching on the Nothing But Niners channel right now, you better get your asses over there and subscribe. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way. Get your asses over there and subscribe to the 49ers Hive, inspired by Beyonce, on their YouTube page, okay?
I'll take it. Matt, do us the honors, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's been a war of attrition so far, but, we're going to start getting healthier, hopefully, and get some pieces back. I think that the 49ers are still more than enough of taking out the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we'll see. Another game wearing the whites. It's the primaries this time, not the 1994s. So it's just a shame that it's coming in a year where it's not that hot out. So I think the game time temperature is supposed to be like 70 degrees.
Yes.
But that being said, it's going to be a fun ride, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. So for Mike, for Zach, for myself, thank you guys. As always, we couldn't do this without you. And until next time, go Niners.